Good morning. Thank you for joining. For those of you that are new to me, new to the Reason Recordings, my name is LaShondia, and I am here just to be a spiritual guide, to kind of have some conversation with you around things that God is speaking with me about. And so, as I got ready to end this year and head into this weekend, one of the things that God started talking to me about was just the status of the people. That some of us are stuck in a certain gear, and that prompted me to do some study around, what does it take for us to move forward, or what will it take for us to move forward in this time? And so one of the things that the stories that came to mind is to me is I had a short weekend back when I was in college. My mom bought me this little blue Toyota Corolla, and it was a 1988 Corolla. It was a used car. She paid for it, and all I had to do was come home, drive it, take it back to school. And so the thing about this car, though, it was a standard shift, a manual. I had never driven a manual shift, so I had to learn how to drive that car over a weekend. And so I was bound and determined to go back to school on Sunday with that car. Worst case scenario, I had to spend the night and then Monday and then get up and go. But I knew that I only had 3 days to learn to drive that car. And so that's what I want this weekend to be for us. I want it to be a gear shifting weekend for us where we learn how to go from where we are and being stuck in the space that we're in and moving forward so that as we get into 2024, we're rolling. So this will be my day one. I got home, I was excited, I got the car, I thought it was cute. I need to figure out how to move this thing. So my mom took me out for the first drive. And so tonight, that's what I want to do with us. I want to take us out for the first drive, and I want to do that by talking about recharging. And so tomorrow you'll hear about regrouping, and then Sunday we'll talk about revolting and what that means. And so let's get into it. Recharging. So I want to know, are you being charged up like your iPhone, your iWatch, or if you're like my husband, your Android device? Are you recharging yourself personally every day like that? Or are you more like that old battery system that we used to use, like the one that we use in our remotes for our televisions and things like that, that you just kind of run until you run out and you have to be completely replaced? So I want to check in first to say, where are you? If you were like the lithium batteries that we use for our iPhones and such, then you'd be at a percentage. So we're at the end of the year. A lot of time has been spent. We've done a lot of things over the year. We're getting ready for the new year. Some of us have had time off. Some of us have been working day over day over day with no breaks. But I want to know from you, where do you feel like your battery is right now? And then what are some of the things that we can do to fill you up and help you recharge? I think that we need both systems in the time that we live in today. We need the ion system, which is that fast charge, meaning you get on it daily and you're recharged and ready for the next day. We also need that old system where we take the whole battery out, replace it, renew it, and get ready and insert a new one. That's what this weekend is. It's not going to be the quick, short, fast recharge. It's more of that take the battery out, let's figure out the new replacement for it. And so that's what I want us to talk about a little bit today. When I think about where I am and how this year has been for me, I've had moments where were great, moments that were not so great, and all the things in between. I think that if we were giving ourselves an end of the year review and we were being honest with where we are, then we would all say, nobody would say, hey, I was an A plus. Like last year wasn't an A plus. There were some things that I did, I could have done better. And there's some things that I did and I excelled in, and I can teach others how to do it. What I want us to focus on is not the stuff that went well or the things that went wrong, but just the overall body of work and how we talk about moving forward. And one of the things that God's been dealing with me about is trying to understand, how do we recharge on a weekly basis? And so one of the things that I'm getting right into point one, because I told y'all this is a 13-minute recording. We're 12 minutes, not even 13, 12 minutes. So we're not even going to be here that long. My first point to you today is you need recharging on a frequent, consistent basis, just like your iPhone does, just like your Apple Watch does, just like your other devices do. You need to be recharged. And so one of the ways that you recharge daily is just like Jesus did. Jesus said that he went out and he would often go into spaces alone. Let me find the scripture for you right quick. It's in Luke 5. Luke chapter 5. I'm going to read from the NIV version. It says, "Yet the news about him spread all the more. So the crowds of people came to hear him and be healed of their sickness." He was working. "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." I'm going to read it again. "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." So if you're the Father doing the work of ministry, going out, healing people, preaching, teaching, took time to go and withdraw to charge up on a daily basis, then that gives us the right to say we should as well. I'm going to speak to the women for a moment. Like sometimes we feel like we don't need a break. Like it's okay for us to continue to run. I thought about like what days look like. I thought about how sometimes you get up in the morning and you're getting the kids together and then you're getting breakfast together and you got to get dressed and you got to do your hair and you got to put on some clothes and then you got to get to work, get the kids to school first, and you get to work and you get to work and you do all the things that are on the agenda for work for the day. Then you get off work and then you get to pick the kids up and you get home and you get the kids settled and then you are doing homework and then maybe there's dinner, has to be dinner because you gotta have dinner for the kids. And then after that is already the day is spent. Where is the time in there that you get to recharge? Where is the time in there that you get to draw away? So one of the things that Jesus did, he spent time early in the morning. So one of the things that we can consider is considering the morning hours as the time that we go and spend some time alone to get ourselves together. And this isn't just about praying. That is one of the great things to be charged up for the day. But it can also be that you take the time just to sit and settle with yourself to say, hey, what do I want to accomplish today? What's the priority? What's not the priority? I think the main thing is, though, to understand that you need some daily time. If you just run in that simple agenda that I just ran through, you already know you're short on time. Like if you've done 8 hours in the building or in an office building, and then you got to drive there and drive back, pick the kids up and all that, your time is spent. And thank God for those of us who have spouses that are able to help us or family members that are able to help us to do these works. But the point of the matter is it is a lot of work and it is pulling on you. So just like Jesus did, the first thing I'd say is we need to make sure that we take the time to recharge daily. And by doing so, it'll help us be stronger and able to pour out to others at the end of the day. So that's number one, the daily recharging, times of rest. The second thing that I would say to you is that we also need to find time to get into a local church. I know it's not popular now. Everybody feels that we can do it all online. I am not attempting to be your pastor or your pastor out here. I am simply another body, another source, and one of the spiritual gifts in the body that's imploring you, though, to get into a local church so that you can spend some time weekly on a consistent basis where you're being poured into. It's great to go out and read materials. I do the same thing. But when you think about the fact that you need to be fed and then you want to be depleted, it's important that you go and find someone that you can sit under that's going to teach you the full body of the gospel. Times of rest. So that's my third point. My third point is around getting specific times of rest where you aren't just doing it for a short period of time. And I know that it's sometimes hard. There's some of us that like to burn the candle on both ends. Oh, I don't need any time off. Some of us right now are losing vacation days. That is a no. Why would we work all year, go through all this that we've done through the year to take care of the business? And the business tells you at minimum you need 2 weeks off, or whatever it may be. And you get to the end of the year and you still have time that you're going to give back to the company. And you really are still in it from yourself primarily and then your family secondarily. So if you're at the point that you're losing time, then that means you have an F in this category for the year. I'm just going to go and give you your performance review on that. You have a failure in this area and we need to work on it for the next year. So I would say take some time now, look at the year and figure out when you're going to make sure you have times of rest. Jesus had times of rest as well. Let me give you an example. There were times when he drew away for 40 days. That's a long time. Right now, we talk about taking a week off and we're like, oh, 40 hours. I don't know if I can miss 40 hours of work. It will continue to function without you. You'll be okay to be able to take the time off. If Jesus can find the need to take 40 days, and of course it was a great work, but you're doing work as well in the body. And so if you need some time, you got to make sure you plan for it. So my third point to you is make sure that you have significant time that you're spending away from all the things that are pulling on you day by day. You need to daily recharge. So, what are some of the things I do to recharge daily? I read my Bible, it's one of the ways. I listen to music. I have a great playlist. I'll drop some of it in the chat for you all so you can see some of the songs I'm listening to. But I listen to that. I listen to things that are feeding me or things that make me think. Like I like documentaries and things like that. But it may be different for you. You may be into fiction, you may need a good comedy, or you may need different things, but make sure that you're taking the time to recharge by disconnecting from all the things you have to do on a daily basis. The second thing is I reminded us that we need a local pastor. If you didn't have one all of 2023, that's okay. But as you go into 2024, begin to think about and look around and say, where can I go and pour my gifts and talents into outside of my business place, outside of my home, and knowing that you'll also be poured into as well by joining a local church. And then the third thing that I reminded us of is that we need times of rest. Like it is not okay to burn the candle on both ends. You're not gonna get an award at the end because you gave all your days back to the company. Like they'll know. I saw something the other day that said employee of the year has already been given out, right? If you got it, you already got it, but your days being given and saved is not a way. That money is already set aside for you to be able to take time. So you need to understand that by all means, that's something that you've earned, you deserve, and your family needs it so that you can be better for them. So daily recharging, times of rest, find your local church. Thanks for joining. Have a great day, y'all. See you tomorrow. We talk about regrouping.